I try to avoid politics. Now, two of the more viewed videos on this channel, my little tiny channel, have been political. And what happened today to me just seems historic. And, you know, I'm trying to fathom this. I'm trying to fathom being able to fire the guy who's investigating you. I remember Mayor Rob Ford in Toronto. Famously, there was an investigation into whether or not he was crooked or what was up with him, and he basically decided, yeah, no, I'm good, and he shut it down. I'm good. Firing the guy in charge of the FBI and saying, I don't think you can do an effective job, after talking to him after you win the election and saying that he's great and thank you, and it's a week after he's asked by a congressional committee publicly, are you investigating the president? And he answers with, I can't answer that. That's not a condemnation. But all I've heard today is Nixon, 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 which is fine because that's all I've been saying. Nixon, Nixon, Nixon. Richard Nixon gets a lot of flack, but if you haven't seen the documentary, The Nixon Tapes, it's very interesting. Because for me, I came out of the Nixon tapes understanding the man a little better and kind of feeling bad for him on some level, and yet understanding why he lost his job, why it all happened. I don't equate that to what's going on with Trump. What I've seen has been a man who took over, and it seems he anticipated he was going to be the CEO of the States, and that he'd just say, this will happen, and then it happens, and done. And now that he understands there's checks and balances, he's taking care of that. He's taking care of checks and balances. There's been corruption in politics forever, and I want to say that I did not agree with a lot of the things that Barack Obama did either. There were a lot of drone strikes going on under his presidency. And there were drone strikes going on in foreign countries against people who may or may not have been terrorists, just based on whether or not he felt that you should take them out. And I don't agree with going into foreign countries and just precision striking people who may or may not be a danger to your country. I thought there was a lot to that, and I always thought they underreported it. And I'm not getting into what the media does or doesn't report. It's not anything to do with this. But what's gone on with Trump, to me it's clear. Putin wanted Trump in power. Clearly, he didn't want Hillary. He hated Hillary. Before the election, foreign minister for Russia said, if Hillary's elected, it's going to be war. He wasn't kidding around. The Russians minced no words. They wanted anybody but Hillary. And Trump made sense because to them he would have been viewed as a non-politician, probably pretty easy to manipulate, and pretty easy to sort of wrap around your finger. And I'm trying to say this in a way that if somebody comes on my channel like, I'm a Trump supporter and you got it all wrong. No, I'm saying this is how the Russians would have viewed it. Look at what's just happened in France. Marie Le Pen loses the election to Macron. Now, right before the election, WikiLeaks dumps a bunch of emails of Macron's to the public to try to make him look bad, to try to turn the election in Le Pen's favor. Does that sound familiar? I find it weird that Julian Assange's website has become a tool of the Russians, because to me, I don't like the illegal nature, but certainly I thought in the beginning that learning some of the stuff we've learned has been good, because it helped to expose certain parts of government that we didn't otherwise see. And now with what's going on with this Comey's been fired, and Yates was fired, and their reasons just get more ridiculous. Well, we thought she was a Hillary supporter. What? There are parts of government that you're supposed to be saying this person's neither my supporter nor their supporter. They're just good at their job. And I find it stunning that Trump has fired the FBI director. And now there's talk about, well, the FBI investigation into the Russia scandal may be over. That's convenient. Again, Nixon did everything he could, and in the end he had to quit. Trump has been doing everything he can for the last 2 or 3 months to distract everybody from what's going on. Whether it's saber rattling with North Korea, Syria, or other things that he's been doing. It's to me, as a Canadian who doesn't have a horse in this fight, other than the fact that his 24% tariff on softwood lumber directly affects the jobs of people that I know. And that looked a lot like a stunt. And now, in the Canadian government, there's pressure on Justin Trudeau to hit back. And Trudeau's kind of not wanted to do it. There was a trade war between Canada and the US, and while that may sound weird and hilarious, and especially for an average American, you think, well, Canada doesn't really have anything we want. Canada has plenty that America wants. And if Canada says, you're paying through the nose for our water, Americans will stand up and pay attention to that. You want our oil? Well, you're going to pay for it. Americans will pay attention to that. And, you know, I've watched the Canadian dollar nosedive. It is approaching record lows. And I keep hearing from people, oh, that doesn't matter. Hockey fans mostly. That doesn't matter. Canadian dollars nosedive, it's fine. It's done that before. This is getting into territory where major companies will say it's not really worth our time or effort to be in Canada because we have to pay in American dollars, which professional sports do. You're now adding 28%. It's a lot of money. It's a ton of money. So we'll see where this goes, I guess. I wanted to do a video on May the 9th on what I think is kind of a historic moment where a sitting president who's under federal investigation, at the very least his transition team's under federal investigation. Whether he is or isn't, it doesn't matter. The fact that his transition team's under investigation and he fires the investigator, there aren't enough red flags to describe how that looks. So I just figured I'd do a little video. I'd upload it to the channel where I only have 100 subscribers, and just drop it there and just walk away from it. Just leave it there and just go, okay, I did that. I did it. I did that. I did that. I'm sorry. And just leave it as it is. So, and again, I'm trying to keep any political leanings I have or don't have out of this. And just, this is what it looks like. It's not, doesn't look great. So you guys can let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And thank you so much for watching.